Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a good morning, and for that matter, a great day. Today, I will be trying out the new Paladins Beyond, Siege Beyond, in where they incorporated a new item store, which I find very interesting, and I have my opinions on it. We'll get into that when the video starts. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. So, Siege Beyond is a game mode right here. It's in between Siege and their, event mode. It's right where test maps used to be. It is where they try out different scrims and different trial stuff that they want to incorporate into the game, but not necessarily incorporate into the game. In this case, they're trying out a new item store, changing up all of the new items. For most people who played the beta, they did not like it, which is fair. Everyone has their own opinion. But my opinion is much more complex about it. When I get into a game, I'll explain. Okay, so my thoughts on the item store is very mixed per class that you play. I will probably start out with Tank because this is one that I'm very familiar with. A lot of people don't like playing Frontline, and I understand that. The new item store, the biggest criticism that I agree with on the new item store is that the new item store strangles creativity. It makes it so you have one of 3 items, which doesn't necessarily bode well when you're trying to be creative and, choosing to make complex builds around 4 separate items, like it, originally. In this, you just have 3 choices every time. 12 total items. Sure, some of the items are very strong or very weak. Most of them somewhere in between. But once you do get to that point where, you're dictating whether an item is strong enough to be considered a good item, you're no longer paying attention to the point of the item store necessarily. It is to make there be variety in the way that people play, in the way that things are done, give you opportunity to build characters how you please. People initially thought the store was RNG based. It is not RNG based. It is a set system like the other store, minus the fact you can't buy whatever item you want at any point in time. You can only buy the items you want at the current time. You can only buy 3 items too. So you can buy however many you want, but you only have 3 choices. Which for certain roles, like Frontline, a role that's notoriously underplayed and that most people aren't a fan of, is broken. Like this item right here, credit gain after kill or elims. Insane. Can cause snowballing. Bad. That's my biggest problem with this. It has a huge issue with snowballing. And then this one's pretty unique. Good for healer, good for anyone, good for damage. I'll choose that. Veteran, works how it does. Morale boost, remedy. Increases healing when out of combat and inside combat. It's nice that that's locked to a healer now.
4, 3,
not the subject who's being healed, like Rejuve. But it's still, it boosts your healing out of combat.
I brought you a present.
But Frontline is one of those roles that notoriously goes underplayed. Where the hell is my healer? What? Anyway, whatever. I'm not gonna try to understand where she was. Maybe she's just taking a moment. Yeah, she's at spawn. Anyway, I'll just take this time to explain my thoughts on everything. She's AFK. Okay. Did she leave? Nope. It's one of those things where I feel like you're gonna either have a very high opinion of how the store is, you're gonna think it's pretty good, new, and fun, or you're gonna think it's bad. And the main reason why is it changes a lot of the meta characters. Okay, our healer's still AFK. It changes how the game plays significantly because, sure, with the old item store you had Cauterize, which they removed this patch, which is the only way I thought this store could even be working in the first place, because if Caught was ever an item, it'd have to be a first buy and is required no matter what role you play. So it being base kit is good. I really enjoy that. But this newest change that just makes the game based around, you know, I buy one of these 3 items. Like Chronos. It just strangles a bit of creativity. There's not a lot of options. You don't get a lot of choices. You only get 3. Opposed to the initial 16 of the other store. Sure, you can only have 4, but you have a larger, you know, choice, option. If our healer could actually, like, play the game, that'd be nice. Now that our Ceres is playing, I will actually speak, just in case that game was, you know, going to end. I have very complex feelings towards this change. I think it makes some items just never going to be picked because of it. Items like Wrecker, Illuminate, are just never going to be picked now. Because at what point are you going to sacrifice having 12 extra credits just all of the time? When are you going to learn that, you know, when are you going to choose the ability to see invisible people over any other item in the game? Unless those other items are of equal quality, situational. Invisibility of characters like that are very situational. I would say that the only time I ever really have an issue with it is with Sky and Saudi, and they're not even really an issue. More of just a byproduct of that issue. Because if you buy... It's the same issue with the other store, but like you get to make that choice a bit more, you know, simple. Like, why would I choose Wrecker over Nimble or Call of Arms? Like, in what scenario would I choose certain items over... Like, why would I choose any of these if I can choose this? Like, this is my biggest issue with it. It does make certain classes a bit more easy to play. Like, Frontline becomes easier. A lot of Frontline issues with being healed are solved with a lot of these items, which is more just due to game mechanics being towards healing tons of health. So it's pretty interesting. I think that they should, one, remove this. Remove that you can talk to people in here. And that you can't mute their audio if they talk to you. I don't think that's necessarily the best thing. I get that it's a ranked thing that's in here. Like, they don't let you mute people because of ranked. And it's a very similar thing for, you know, casual. They just removed it all entirely. I think you should just remove it all entirely, like in casual, just in case, you know, of harassment and stuff. which I just think it's a stupid
Capture
idea.
point spawning in 15 seconds.
Like, I also think you should add in a surrender option. So many other games have surrender as an option.
5,
Just,
4,
I don't want to play
3,
games that I know I'm
2,
losing.
1.
This is my biggest issue with Paladins especially, is I'm forced to play a 20-minute long game because I'm just told I have to, even though I know I'm not going to be able to win. Like, other games incorporate, even if it has to be 4 people on our team, I'm cool with that. Just make it so it's not...
Thanks for the heals.
Just make it so it's not just... I'm forced to sit here for 20 minutes. I do like that they're trying out new things, and I respect that, and I find it very cool. I hope that the next couple of scrims are just as effective as this scrim, because I like the concept of having a new item store. I don't think... you know, this one's a bit more balanced. They changed some items around. They made things a bit more uniform. I like that. But it's not to the point where I'm like, these items here feel a little bit weak for being the last item. You know,
A stellar pickup.
when you take damage from a target, you deal more damage to the target who dealt damage to you. Interesting. Based on the amount of credits you have, which caps at, get this, 900. Not 9,000, 900. Either lower the amount that it increases, so it doesn't matter, or double down.
Yeah,
Make it way better,
that was nothing.
and, you know, have fun with it.
I won't fall. Ooh, I like
Inara is a character in this game mode that is a little too strong. The new items
You and I did that.
make her kinda good. Scarily so.
Oh, killing spree.
I have a bot on my team and someone who's never picked up a first-person shooter in their life, I swear. And yet I'm still, like,
Yeah,
winning?
well, thanks
So-
for the heals.
minor stutters. Anyway,
Stars, guard me. Watch the skies.
that was bad. It's just one of those things where it's like, I feel like they need to consider a lot more things, but they didn't really have the time to consider them because it's just a test. And I would love for them to, like, make an updated version of this that's, you know, later on, like, change just a couple things around. Don't change the whole thing, because I like the new item store. I think it's a cool concept, and
7,
it just needs a bit more refining.
4.
I understand that people strongly dislike the item store.
Overtime.
This is a common opinion of the item store. People find it very, very bad. And that they like that they removed caught. And they think that the item store is just, in general, bad idea. They didn't need new items. But I think that's more of people's fear of change, more than anything.
No problem.
But yeah, you see the problem is, I have the final item. I have all 12. And suddenly, I'm already practically capped at 600. Already. And I'm halfway, or like I'm at 2/3 of the way of being full capped.
Capture point spawning in 15
And it's just
seconds.
like, well, once you reach 900 credits, if the game's really gone on that long, then why do you have the cap be 999?
5,
Right?
4, 3, 2.
You can change it to be 0.001 after that and just make it so, you know. I just want credits to feel like they're still necessary, that they're still improving things.
Time's ticking. So, yeah, well, thanks for the heals. That was nothing.
Ha! Now it's getting fun. Great shot.
Double.
I was fine.
I don't think we're winning this game. I hate to break anyone's heart who thinks that I can win with a bot and a person who's never played a first-person shooter in their life. With only 2 people who know what they're doing, and even then, I don't know about that. I also feel like a lot of the item descriptions are very rough.
Yeah, well,
I don't really get what they do.
they're getting frisky.
I guess that's just more of the complex matter of explaining how the items work in the first place, which is hard enough to do already.
Not like this. Almost ready.
If I could get literally a single right click from Aceris, I would be so good right now.
It's overtime.
Yeah, okay.
Honestly, I would just cancel my ult there. Apparently I did, I have managed to do pretty well. Even when.
And they'll never.
Sorry for the cut halfway through. I just had no faith in us. But yeah. I think the new item store has potential. There are some interesting byproducts of the store. If they don't curate it a bit more, I think it could end up being very bad. But if they do make Siege Beyond change just a little, change the store just a little, couple items here, couple items there, I do think it could be better. But a large part of my problem is there are certain items that just aren't going to be as good as other items and will never be picked. I fear that items that were good utilities will just never be picked. You'll never want to pick a this or a that because you have the better item. It is just right there. Which isn't how I should feel. I should feel like, it's a bit more open and that things are, a bit more fluid and that I should feel good about this or that. But I don't.
Choose your champion. Grover's my favorite.
I'll try to get a flank game.
Edie. Customize your champion.
Well then. Anyway. There's certain changes to certain things that just don't make sense to me. So I don't really accept the new item store. I don't think it's a good idea. But I liked the concept. I thought it was a good thing to try. The big problem is Siege Beyond is going to struggle with a lot of other problems with regular Siege. Siege Beyond will always struggle at one thing or another. Some concepts will just not be good. It's just going to be flat out worse. And some options will always be, things will happen and it's like, oh yeah, that change needs to be incorporated yesterday. I'm glad you guys finally got around to it. And other things are like this, where it's like, a nice change like this would be good. Things would be good. It's not where I want it right now. I think where it is right now needs a little work.
I feel stronger.
That was the fastest shredding shield I've seen in a while. But that's probably because they get to buy record 2 at the start of the game, which is so different from normal.
Thanks for the healing.
This stuttering's bad, but
We are like two flames dancing on dry wood.
Got her. I typically don't have a lot of faith in hooks like that. I think that that's normally will miss, but apparently not. I don't know if this has its own meta. It's kind of weird. I don't know if this is even like designed for one character or another. Everything feels sort of different from how I want it to work. But like things like, oh yeah, normally right now I'd have Chronos 2 or Chronos 1 because Chronos is just a good item to buy on Koa. Right now Chronos is 15%, which is somewhere in between 1 and 2. Later on, that will just hurt Koa a lot more than normal. And sure, there's abilities like the active cooldown, you know, when you're in combat, it deals, or your cooldowns are 20% less, right? And those are pretty good. I have played about 20 games or so of this.
Time to take charge.
I've seen all sorts of things, but I don't think at any point I've gone, this is the worst thing that they've ever tried by any means. They've still done worse. The stuttering's bad. God, I don't know why the stuttering got bad all of a sudden. But yeah. I apologize for the stutter. If there's another, you know, I think this will be the last game, but I have very complex emotions towards this news store. I respect what they have done. Does that mean I think it should be added? No.
In 15 seconds.
I think that they should try something else. It was worth an attempt.
5, 4,
I think it's a new fun
3,
thing to try out.
1.
It'd be cool if this became like a situational, like every once in a while, like a rotating game mode, but I doubt. It also relies on comfortability. A lot of the items are very complex that take a while to get used to. So it's different. My biggest concern with the items themselves is that it makes frontline a little strong. Now, non-frontline classes are also a bit strong, but that's normal Paladins. Damage always deals a bit too much damage, in my opinion, but it's changed, you know? I'm gonna blame lag on that missed hook. Not my own incompetence. That was a good Grover ult. If his goal was to keep me alive, which I think it was. As long as Grover. I'll body block for us till the day I die. You didn't go far enough, Grover.
My apologies.
But yeah, it has some ups. It has its downs. Like, having Call to Arms and then having Nimble, it's like, sometimes I do want cooldown reduction. But I also want to be able to move fast.
Enemy killing spree.
Our bond grows stronger.
I won't curse you today. Spring has come. Enemies are flanking.
Give them hell!
A spot of grog.
I was spamming you there. The frame dropping has gotten really bad all of a sudden. It might just be due to how long things are taking, but I think that if they tried out different things, that it would be kind of cool, you know?
30 seconds remaining.
And thank you, Paladins team, for being willing to change how your game's fundamental core mechanics work, just to test things out.
15 seconds remaining.
Cerebral terror mod engaged.
I do think that a lot of this is spun on from the concept that they are worried that Paladins isn't doing so hot.
It's
And I
overtime.
don't blame them. It's just, I am a huge fan of this game. I've put over 2,000 hours into it. I love this game as much as the next person, but
I will not die. Not yet, amigo.
I
We did it, friend.
understand that this game has never performed particularly well.
Gracias for the healing.
Yeah, no, I'm dead.
It was the will of the spirit. You can't kill a ghost.
But yeah. I think that this could be better. That's all. Thank you guys for trying it. That's all. I wish that you would try more things. And I hope that this is not going to be something that they abandon very early on, right? I hope that they don't abandon this and that they keep it
5,
going.
4,
Because if they do,
2,
I feel like that this could be a new opportunity for the creators to get, you know, very experimental. Such things as, you know, removing entire things from the game. Try out new game modes. Perhaps. Change how different game modes work. I know it's called Siege Beyond, but I want it to be more than just Siege. I know Siege is the one thing that we've incorporated as the main game mode. Siege is the balance. Siege is everything. Like, everything's balanced and done around Siege. I get that. But what if this also, you know,
Cerebral terror mod engaged.
had TDM? Onslaught. You just tried something else. Just try something else.
overtime.
Make the game
I will not
just
die.
better in general. Don't just make it better for Siege.
Give them hell!
For one mechanic or another. Just make it all better.
Victory.
And we got a victory. Good way to end this off. Just in case you were concerned about the stats, let's show the stats of the game, which are going to be pretty insane because the game is slightly different. Yeah, pretty reasonable. Normal stats even. I think that this provides a great opportunity. And if they would experiment with more things, I would definitely be willing to cover it and give my thoughts and my opinions. I just think that the new item store, Siege Beyond, it could use some more work. That's all. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Sorry for the stuttering halfway through. I think I needed to restart my PC again. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Love you. Bye.